Welcome back
to Meta Rules
TV, where the underground meets the playground. It's out of control!
So in the news, Gardenian.
Yes.
Was it Gardenian or Gardenian?
Gardenian.
All I know is I really like this band. I mean, like, you know what's weird though is like they haven't had an album since 2000, but I didn't even notice they were missing. And that's not like a slight. It's just that like I listen to so much music that you lose track of all the bands. Also, you're like, oh yeah, Gardenian has no album since 2000, 13 years ago. But yeah, I always dug this band. I thought they were really good. What about you?
I heard it. I liked it. It's very 90. Well, obviously, because it came from that era. Really big, wide, broad sound, 90s metal, and it was like it's still commercial while still being death metal.
Melodic death metal.
Correct. And from what I heard with the woman singing, that was a first where they're like, okay, if we're gonna mix, for one bad example, rap and metal, we're gonna mix real heavy metal with a little bit of light singing, which Celtic Frost actually did.
Yeah, they were one of the innovators of that moment too.
So it was like
landmark band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did things 10 years ahead of anybody else, at least. Maybe 20.
But I mean, as far as the music goes, it opened with a very... I thought it was going to be like an industrial band, since I saw that you had or heard that you had industrial bands on all over the map tonight. But it started out with real fuzzy bass, and then it got right into real 90s Sepultura, which for some people is the downhill.
Dude, I love 90s Sepultura.
Me too.
KSAD.
Right.
Did you like Soulfly? We had this conversation a lot with people. Like, did you feel like once it became Roots that you were no longer interested in them, or did you like that?
Roots, I kind of fell off with Roots a little bit, and there was a couple songs in there, namely the title track, just because it's so catchy, and that song Attitude, I think it's track 3 or 4. But, and you know what, a lot of the tribal stuff on that album, I actually get down with.
Right.
But I guess that was the turning point for that band. After KSAD, which I think was a landmark. Yeah, I guess I kind of fell off a little bit with Roots. I felt like it was Soulfly from there on.
Yeah, and I love Soulfly. I don't care, commercial, whatever you want to say about it, mallcore, whatever people are saying to it. I always find Soulfly very catchy, but still very heavy, and I like what they did. I loved all the tribal shit. I loved Roots. I mean, I think that was a fucking amazing album. So
yeah, but KSAD compared to the Roots, KSAD is more rigid and held on to the old school vibe.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
a lot of people don't even like KSID. People say that's
my favorite one.
All of a sudden on Roots, they're just the sound got bigger, broader, and tons of tribal. Well, not that they were never tribal, but it just got bigger, broader, and you could paste it to other bands that were going on.
Some people say that's too metalcore, that album.
What? No.
Yeah, that's what people say.
I've heard that it's too new metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's ridiculous.
But I think they were doing that without even knowing that new metal was going to be a thing. That was just where they were going to go.
But Soulfly, the first Soulfly album is actually, it's pretty wicked, man. I mean, even compared to Roots, I'll tell you what, man, it stands up to Roots. If not, I know it's not Sepultura, but it's for him to go out on his own and just say, okay, well, I'm going to make this record. I remember it was 98, and I was listening to it with my buddies, and it was good, man. Boom Ba. What was the other ones? Eye for an Eye.
Boom Ba. Boom Ba.
Yeah, you remember Mike Murrow's birthday party when they covered Eye for an Eye? Slugburster?
Eye for an Eye.
That was fucking awesome.
Good stuff. But what about Gardenian? We're talking about them. Did you guys listen to them at all? You familiar with Gardenian?
I think at this point in the list, I was too I just missed it.
It's a lot of bands.
He was eating Captain Crunch by this time.
And
he's like, I want to go to bed.
I'm gonna guess you're younger. I mean, you're probably 30, maybe.
I'm 28.
Yeah, I figured 30 at the oldest. You're same age?
What age do you think I am?
30 at the oldest.
Timeless.
Youngest.
You're 30.
You think I'm 30?
I think you're
30 or younger.
Okay. I'll take that.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
How old are you?
25.
No, you're not.
24.
How old are you, really?
24.
Yeah, he's serious.
Alright.
You're infinite. Both of you.
I'm almost
We are.
I'm almost double your age.
All right.
Which is kind of shocking. I'm 46, almost double your age. That's
I
pretty
can't
sick.
say my name because I don't want to ruin my record contract.
What?
If I get one.
What are you talking about?
I don't want them knowing my age because that may blow it for my big time. Right? Oh no, he's old.
So
That's
yeah,
a
so
Rick
I guess you
Springfield.
probably would miss Gardenian completely then, because it was like 14 years ago.
You know what,
so
though?
you were
I certainly
10, so you weren't listening to melodic death metal at 10. I'm
I'm
assuming.
certainly not listening to. Gardenian.
But that was like what I was saying at the time. Like there's some shit that just creeps under. Like to sidetrack here, all of a sudden I found these songs like Bob Welch Sentimentally, The Nas, Open My Eyes, Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult. Like all these songs, Iron Maiden, like when I was explaining before, Iron Maiden came later in my life. Like how? I don't know. I listened to them when I was young, but the full bulk of the discography came at a later point in my life, like I was telling you the other day. But some of these groups and some of these songs...
You a little gassy? You a little bit gassy?
Yeah.
Just
He's gassy. But some of these songs like get caught up where like they get spun out again. You're like, how did I not know about this band at the time? You know, like Static X, whatever now, but
Oh yeah.
that first album
Love
was
that
actually
celery head.
that's actually
You know that the
they wouldn't let me use
was
the
it
disco ball.
bassist for Static X was playing for Soulfly now,
Right,
and doing the background death metal
right.
vocals.
He was actually on the Prong album.
Yeah, Tony Campos, right?
Right.
Is that his name is?
He's on Prong's album.
Yep.
Prong, the last Prong album is freaking wicked, dude. It is freaking.
I got into them because I was into Helmet, and I would always hear
Right.
Prong tossed around in the same
Right.
circles as Helmet and Unsane. Unsane, I still have yet to really
I never got into that.
understand them
It's
fully.
great. They definitely opened up a whole new can of
fast.
different rock and roll, noise rock,
Yeah.
noise like punk.
It's very groove.
It's great.
I just
There's
remember
a
it
lot
was
of awesome
always
bands that came
Unsane,
influenced from
Helmet,
them.
and Prong was always tossed
Yeah.
around together. But Helmet was always
And
my favorite one.
Godflesh was another one that got lumped in.
I love Godflesh.
It's very mechanical. It's not industrial, but the beats.
It's
the way
like
they would play the
accidentally
beats-
industrial.
Right.
Think
there
like
you go.
before
Yeah.
industrial was a term.
Right. They were a metal
They
band
just did
that
it.
wasn't using samples. I guess we could say that were already producing that industrial sound. Whereas when we started getting the early '90s, mid '90s, were
What did you like? Which album? Street Cleaner?
for what?
Godflesh.
That's the only one I know well.
Yeah.
I saw them open up for Napalm Death when I was a witty bitty lad.
My God, you must have been like 4.
I was like, honestly, I was
Yeah, I was 4.
13 or 14.
That was, what was that,
Napalm
1989, dude?
No, it was like 1991 they showed.
Was it?
1990 or 91, they were at G. Willigers with Napalm Death. I remember the drummer of Napalm Death came out, and you know how the stage is like this high? Well, I was like sitting on the stage.
How did you even get in there? Was it
It was
an
all
LA?
ages.
Was it an LA?
So I was getting trampled upon, and then so I'm like, all right, well I'm just gonna sit on the stage, and nobody said anything. They're like, okay, let the little kid sit on the stage, and then the drummer came out, and he's like, oh, this little kid's been sitting on the stage. He's like, give us your best death growl, and I was like, oh. And everybody's cheering, and then they let me sit back in my spot. No, but before Napalm Death went on, it was Godflesh, and it was just two dudes. It was a guitar player and a bass player, and it was weird. It was like 1, 2, and then before them was the almighty trigger for the drum beats, and they would just stomp on it, and that would be their change of song. Would be like, okay, we gotta hit the stop block now, and that was it. But all those bands like the pre-accidental industrial bands like Helmet, where's the second one? You said?
Prong.
On
Unsane.
Unsane, Prong.
In the membrane.
Right. All those bands were like precursor to the industrial, if you want to say Nine Inch Nails.
The Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. But all these undertow of all these bands, like I was about to say, I found Gorefest by accident on iHeartRadio, and that was from only possibly early 2000s, and I'm like, how did I miss this? You know, or how did I miss that band? And Gardenian, just listening to it recently, it was like, wow, this could come out now.
It's
You know?
because there's 8,000 bands. 8,000 million bands. It's hard to cover
So
every
many
single
bands.
one of them.
Right.
You know, every
So
genre,
long.
there's a million bands in every genre, and if you want to, that's kind of like why I do this and just bring up different bands every week. So you try and even for me, if I don't hear of a band, I'll pick that as one of the news stories so I can go see about a new band because there's never-ending supply of new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on Gardenia?
No,
All right. Great band. I like them.
we gotta drink a social.
Drink a what?
A social.